Ever since I reviewed Digimon World DS and Digimon World Dawn and Dusk, there has been an argument occurring in the comment sections of both videos about which came first, Digimon or Pokemon. Mentioning Pokemon in a video about Digimon is a dangerous thing to do, but let's get the facts out there about which one actually came first. Pokemon started as the Game Boy games and were released as Pokemon Red and Green in Japan on the 27th of February 1996. Digimon started as a virtual pet like the Tamagotchi and was released in Japan on the 26th of June 1997. I'm not commenting on whether anyone ripped the other one off, but those are the facts. Anyway, the point of this video isn't to start arguments, it's to review Digimon World Championship. While it technically wasn't the last Digimon game for the DS, it was the last one to be released in the West, or at least the US. It didn't seem to be as well received as DS or Dawn and Dusk, but I've reviewed the other games, so it seems silly not to at least give it a go. So, was Digimon World Championship a disappointing end to the Digimon DS games, or is it a hidden gem? Let's take a look. Saying that Digimon World Championship has a story would be very generous. You play as a Digimon tamer and your goal is to raise Digimon, win battles and win the Digimon Championships. It's all covered in a few text boxes. If you want an introduction to Digimon, stick with Digimon World DS. If you want an original story that tries to expand the Digimon universe, stick with Digimon World Dawn and Dusk because Championship doesn't offer either. With nothing else to talk about with the story, let's move on to gameplay. Championship strips down all the RPG elements to instead focus on raising Digimon. You don't control a character, instead you play more of a strategy role where you can pick up and move Digimon using the touchscreen. There are 3 different areas of the game that you must jump between in order to beat it. There's Hunt where you capture Digimon, there's Training where you raise them, and there's Battle where you go head to head with other tamers Digimon. You spend the majority of your time in training mode, so let's start by taking a look at that one. In training you have to both train your Digimon as well as keeping them healthy. This means if your Digimon is hungry, you have to tap the food icon and drop some food for them in its cage. You also have to make sure that each cage is clean and heal your Digimon if they get injured. On top of doing this, if you want to make your Digimon stronger, then you have to put them in the correct cage. Each cage will train a Digimon in a certain stat, like attack, speed, HP, etc. So you have to keep on picking up and placing your Digimon in different cages to properly train them. If you train them too much, they will need to be healed. The gameplay is 100% micromanagement and nothing more. I had mixed emotions about the micromanaging. At first I was bored and not enjoying myself because of how simplistic it was. After getting more Digimon and winning a few battles though, I started to get sucked into it more as it felt like it had more of a point to the training. Unfortunately, after a few more hours I was back to being bored again. You're essentially doing the same few little tasks over and over, so it's hard not to go through the motions with it at some point. There is some depth to the game to keep it interesting, but not enough, although I'll talk more about that after looking at the battles. The battles is where your training pays off. You have no direct control over battles, so all you can do is watch your Digimon fight for themselves. You can set your Digimon's battle strategy between normal, special or support, but you're not actually doing anything in battles. This may sound bad, but not having control here means that the battles are purely a payoff of how well you did at raising your Digimon. You spend hours looking after, training and digivolving your Digimon, so it can be satisfying watching your Digimon win battles. On the flip side of this, the battles aren't as intense as they could be. The character models are too small, the attack animations are limited, and the battles are too short. Each one has a 2-minute time limit, but it's rare for them to last more than a minute, meaning that most battles feel like they're over before they really have started. Seeing how there's very little gameplay with the training, the fact that the battles aren't more of a spectacle means the game feels like a weak experience. The last mode is hunting, but there's little to that as well. To catch new Digimon you have to select a region, find the Digimon you want, draw a circle around it and drag it until you can capture it. The game's focus is on raising Digimon with the touchscreen controls, but I don't think that the gameplay needed to be compromised to this extent as a result. The structure of the game centers around winning battles and earning medals. For every title match you win, you earn a medal that goes towards your tamer rank. Earn enough medals and your tamer rank increases, which gives you more upgrades, more cages, and just more of everything. Title matches are only held on specific days. The game is split into 4 seasons, each containing 8 days, so if you want to compete in a title match, you have to wait until you reach a day where one is available. Once you become a bronze rank tamer, you can then take part in the main championships, which take place every year in autumn. Once you've beaten the championship, you've beaten the game. As time is constantly going forward, it adds a small amount of tension to every decision you need to make. On any particular day, do you focus on training, try and find new Digimon, compete in battles, or spend money on cages and upgrades? It's what can make this game addictive, as you can't be lazy and you're always heading towards a new day with a new title match to compete in. Saying that, it can feel like the game is artificially extended because of the day system. Like I said, the championships are held once every year, so if you lose the first time, which you will, you have to wait a year. Each game day is around 6 minutes long, with there being 8 days to a season and 4 seasons to a year. That means it can take over 3 hours for a year to pass. To initially get to the first championship, which is in the autumn of the second year, it will take about 5 hours. So each time you lose, you add 3 hours to the game. There's no retry option for the championship, you just have to retrain all your Digimon again and try again 3 hours later. With the championship being the main event and the end of the game, this can be excused to some degree, but it does feel like padding, especially if you lose more than once. Just like in any other Digimon game, digivolving Digimon isn't as simple as it sounds. The majority of Digimon can digivolve into different forms, which are triggered by either boosting a certain type AP, Dragon, Beast, Bird, etc., winning a certain number of battles, or just letting time pass. The more complicated aspect of digivolving has been maintained for this game, although as the focus is now on being a pet simulator, it's not quite as deep as other games. There are over 200 Digimon to collect, so if you're a fan of the series, you could definitely find yourself lost in this game trying to get them all. However, if you're not a hardcore fan, you may find yourself a bit lost. There's a good amount of tutorials and it helps you understand the basics, but it doesn't explain enough so you can raise the Mega Digimon, which is necessary to beat the game. You have to guess what caused Digimon to digivolve and just see what works. This would be fine, but there's no proper way of keeping track of it all. There's a Digipedia which shows you what Digimon you've owned, but it doesn't keep a record of how you digivolved them, and it contains no useful information. It would have been much more satisfying to try and obtain every Digimon if the Digipedia was more comprehensive. It could have shown a Digimon full dissolution path from training to Mega, describing what you did to get there, and also showing how it could have branched off. I don't need to be spoon-fed this information, but I don't see how somebody would be able to get every Digimon without either having every single Digimon memorized before playing the game or looking it up online. The main reason I mention this as a complaint is because I was able to play and beat Digimon World DS and Dawn and Dusk without having to look things up online, because the game gave me enough information so I could figure it out for myself. In Championship you get very little health and everything you do is on a time limit. The championships are only held once a year and Digimon automatically degenerate, so if you don't successfully guess what you need to focus on and what areas to make them go into Mega, they will degenerate into Digi-Egg and you have to start all over again. This may not be a complaint for Digimon fans, but it brings it down for me. Digimon World Championship for the most part succeeds in what it wanted to be. As a spin-off, it tries something different by focusing on the pet simulation aspect of the series. If you allow yourself, it's easy to get lost in this game, and at times it can also be rewarding. However, it's still a basic experience. The gameplay is stripped down, graphically it's okay at best, and the digivolving aspect has been done better in other games. This feels like it would have been a perfect Digimon game for mobile phones. It uses touchscreen controls, has a day system which is perfect for pick up and play, and it has depth to it without actually having complicated inputs from the user. This may sound like a criticism, but honestly it just would have been a better fit, because as a DS game, it should have been something more. My score is 5.5 out of 10. Digimon World Championship tries something new for what is an enjoyable but ultimately lacking game.